Hi, I want to talk to you just a few minutes about some key elements of outlining. I've put some information out there on Canvas for you in the modules on topic outlines and sentence outlines. I want to really focus on a couple things for you in the topic outline. Every element of that outline must be in topic form. The example I gave you was noun, prepositional phrase. Noun, prepositional phrase. Every element of the outline is in that same structure. For a sentence outline, every element of the outline, except the introduction and conclusion in my requirements, must be in a complete sentence. You should not mix the two. The formatting at the top is very much the same. The difference is, and you're going to have the same information for this packet, but the topic outline will be in parallel topics, and the sentence outline will be in complete sentences. Your thesis will be on both. Please follow the guidelines that I have out there for you in those examples. Once you have completed the outlines, I want to talk to you just a minute about introductions and a little bit about conclusions, even though I'm not asking you to include your conclusion in this writing packet. I want you to think of the introductory paragraph. You need 8 to 12 sentences. One of those sentences near the end of your introductory paragraph will be your thesis. 8 to 12 sentences, and they move from general down to very specific things. I want you to think about an inverted triangle. Okay, you kind of start with right there. You start with general information, and you move down to very specific information in your thesis. The thing that you are going to focus on in your writing. Your thesis needs to be like that roof that fits perfectly over your points. You don't need a lot hanging out on the sides. Your thesis doesn't need to be too broad. It doesn't need to be too narrow. It needs to fit over your points well. It needs to go from general to specific. I've listed the page numbers for you to think about in your textbook, but there's a good discussion on pages 375 down through 378 or so. One, explain the larger context of your topic. Help your reader get into this topic. Provide some general information. And of course, you definitely need to state your thesis, and that usually is near the end of the introductory paragraph. Usually your introduction and your thesis will signal the outline format. It will signal what's coming. In the example that I gave, I addressed the physical effects of smoking first in my thesis. And so that would be, we need to talk about smoking, then we'd need to talk about the physical effects of smoking a little bit, give a general context, and then I address both the emotional or social effects and the financial effects. I've already signaled in that thesis what my organizational pattern is going to be, where everything goes. And so that's how I need to address the general information in my introduction. Offer that background information. Define any key terms or concepts that you need. If there's something that you're not certain that your audience would understand, that's maybe a bit of jargon or a specific vocabulary word that you might need to define, go ahead and do that. Connect as best you can with your readers, some kind of interest or value. You think about who your audience is going to be and what they might be interested in. Start with an attention getter. Some people think this has to be something startling. It doesn't. It's just something that will provoke your reader's interest. Sometimes it can be an excellent quotation. It can be a fact or statistic that may not be widely known. You can start with an anecdote, which is a little tiny story. Again, you're looking at 8 to 12 sentences in this introduction, so be careful about length. You may ask a question, but the question won't be your thesis, okay? The question will be what you answer in the paper itself. So you can ask that kind of rhetorical, thought-provoking question, but I like for students to only use the questions that they are planning to actually use to answer in the paper. Past that as well, you can see there is some information starting on page 380 down through 384, which will give you some general information on conclusions, which you will need, of course, for the essay, which comes next. But the conclusion, I want you to think of it in a regular triangle format, which moves from specific back out to the more general. And in the conclusion, you are not going to just copy and paste your topic sentences in your thesis, but you are going to address the ideas of your topic sentences and your thesis statement. It will be the idea restated, not the thesis in particular. And then often you will have a call to action. Many topics kind of lend themselves to a call to action. A call to action simply means that this is what you would like to see become the result of whatever it is you're writing about. You know, what is the end result? What do you hope to accomplish? What would be your main goal for writing this? What is the call to action? What would you like your reader to do, to think, to believe, whatever? Okay? And so that gives you some good information. When you turn this packet in, I'm going to be asking for you to do a rough draft very quickly after that. And what I mean by that is you will have everything in this packet. If you do it correctly, you will have everything in this packet that you need to write your rough draft. And then we will, I have checklists out there for you on the revising, the editing, and the proofreading of your rough draft. And then you will be submitting that essay. The next essay that you will do will not encompass a packet that will be graded. However, it will be, you will follow this process in your planning and your pre-writing and all of that. You just won't have to do it in as great a detail. You won't have to use all 4 methods of generating. You won't have to do both outlines, that kind of thing. Okay? If you have questions, please email and let me see if I can help you with that as quickly as possible.